known as the benevolent queen of the beach. Carol, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were born, your life.
Yes, I was born in San Francisco in 1933 on McAllister. And I went through the Depression and World War II. So I know how the city's changed from that time. Very interesting. And I raised my children on the beach in the 60s. And the kids that came down there from Haight Street used to say I was the first hippie because I was a natural. I go in the water, body surf, teach all the young people how to body surf. I said, oh, nature's where it's at. You have to be close to nature. That's the path to take. And I was known to be, I guess, Mother Nature, they used to call me. And I had 3 beautiful children, and I was the first one to throw their clothes off, and they'd pitter-patter on the beach. And that was in the 60s. Then it came in hordes, all these kids that would run away from their home. And I thought, oh my God, thank God I have a big house. I'm going to help these kids, right? So they didn't have a place to stay.
I have a question for you, Carol.
Yes.
Were a lot of these kids coming from the Haight Ashbury?
Yes. And they were runaways. And when things got bad, their parents would say, oh, help me. And the policeman came, oh, Carol, we know you have blah, blah in the house. So come on now, are they okay? You know, it's a lot of young people. They were 15, 14, 16 years old. Runaways. They didn't like their lifestyle. They were having a conventional lifestyle. And they wanted to do something different. So they tried, this freedom. In those days, the city was owned by, the beach was owned by the city. Now it's the NRA, government. And we had a very big community. Everything was community in those days. And you don't have that now. It's so rigid now with the government police.
Right.
And so in the old days, I always say the old days, but the old days are 30s, but in the 60s, we did feel we had some control over our environment, and how to live. And so in my day, it was against the law. You weren't supposed to breastfeed. I was the start of that. I was the start of saying, oh, I don't know about your history books. I don't know about that Indian story. That doesn't sound right to me. I don't know, vaccination and all of this stuff. I was started that stuff. And what else?
I was just curious if any of these kids kept in contact with you later.
I made very, very close friends with the young people, yes.
So some of these kids are totally grown up now.
Oh, yes, babies, and they have their own businesses and stuff.
And some of them keep in contact with you?
Well, let me tell you how I got that article. Was a young boy who lived on Haight, and his parents, in those days it was a lot of, in those days it was not the word dysfunctional, right? But most people were all dysfunctional, okay? And so this poor kid would come down all bruised up, and I go, God, Kenny, what's all this bruise? And, oh, my father just beat me up, my mother's drunk, and blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, you better come live with me. And he did. He turned out to be a lovely person, and I fixed him up with his wife, and they moved back east. And there was this man that did this article. I don't know what he was doing back.
What was the article and what paper?
This Queen of the Beach article. This man who wrote this, what was his name? President or cousin or
Scott Osler.
Osler. Okay, he met Kenny back east. He says, oh, I got to write one good article about somebody from San Francisco. Kenny, I hadn't seen him in years. 30 years? He says, I remember this woman that helped my life. And that's, yeah.
Also in this article, I read that you're still taking kids in to this day.
Well, it's not like the old days. Yes, that's true. This paper says I'm getting ripped off and robbed and sued.
Yes, and sued.
And I can't stop helping. I have some kind of weakness where I just can't stop it.
I would call it a strength. I would call it strength and an inspiration.
Yes. Well, thank you. My last boyfriend said, Carol, it's just one thing. You're just a compassionate person. You're just full of compassion. And now it's so different. Now, should I say this? There's this drug problem.
Yes,
okay.
Sure.
And I let people in that I don't know. This is all modern stuff, So
that's a little bit of how, in the 60s, the way it was with psychedelics, compared to what's
different. It was all in
now.
Fun.
Yes.
They wanted to just what they call trip out.
Expand their mind.
Right. they were tired of all this conventional. The mother and father weren't that exciting.
Looking for a new way.
The suburbs were starting, you know. And then urban renewal came now in the 60s, and that was hell. They chopped down, and then the neighborhood association got stopped, or else the whole place would be chopped down in the 60s. Now, what was the other? It was very interesting.
Well, there were psychedelics in
the
the 60s.
Kids. Now, the kids would do this, for, like you say, mind expansion. And they were very intellectual in those days. Okay, very learned kids. They wanted to know, and they'd study. You know, they were a lot from Berkeley too. They'd all get together and talk about the government, this and that. And they were very educated.
Right.
And they knew something was going to happen. You know, they knew they could feel something was coming down. You know, these restrictions, urban renewal, corporate, all this corporate stuff, no jobs. The unions were being squished. You know, it was hard times. It was nothing for young people to do. So they were trying to find what was their place in this society. You know? And then what could I do but just say, I just wanted to get off this. I thought it would damage your brain, right? Like, no, don't do this. That's not good for your brain. You know, we can figure it out. The communes I was all for. You know, that.
Do you know anything about the communes?
I never, but I had a lot of friends who went. They were going to Oregon and Mendocino and all over the place.
I bet a lot of the kids that stayed, then it sometimes took off to the woods.
Yes,
and came back.
And I took them on a lot of nature trips and stuff.
So what's the difference between then and now, would you say?
Well, now technology has this where, you know, these ear things and television and computers and all this and things have changed.
Video cameras.
Very radical. People aren't into community anymore. People aren't communicating like they used to. Right. And young people, we were all into getting to know. We used to go in big gangs, all of us. There'd be I'd say about 50 of us at the beach, okay? And then we'd all be interested in what each other thinks, you know, and it's not like that anymore. I sit outside in front of my house, and people think, this crazy lady sits out in front of her house, you know, and then I say hello to everyone that walks by. You know, I try and keep up the...
Because you are still who you are.
Yes, and a lot of people say, oh, Carol, you're just like the 60s still, you know. Because I jump in the water, I'm always jumping in the oceans, and I throw my clothes off, boom, you know, the free, you know, spirit and all.
And you still live in the same house you lived in the 60s?
Yes, that's correct. And then what would be fun, maybe sometime come in the kitchen, they call it a hippie kitchen. I've got all this stuff all over the
Was it there by the beach at that time?
Pardon me?
An amusement park?
Yes, it was called Playland. And
did you know anything about that place? Did you ever go?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, that was so much fun. In those days, everything was built for enjoyment, for families. You had to have fun. It doesn't seem that there's no place to have any fun anymore. I mean, there was big ballrooms and dancing and, you know, and fly shackers. We had fly shackers.
What's a fly shacker?
That was the long, a swimming pool at the end of where the zoo is now.
Right.
And that was something else. I mean, it was the longest outdoor pool in the country. Yes, Fly Shackers had donated that, and I don't know what happened. It's not there anymore. Right. But and then we had so many things. We had the Fox Theater. And, people don't even talk about the Fox Theater. That was on Market Street. Of course, this is before the 60s now.
That's fine.
Is that okay? Fine. But I think this is going to go in the library. You should know this.
Sure.
This theater was so beautiful. It was about a block. It was a whole block, a theater, a theater, movie house. And we used to play hide and go seek in there and stay in there all day and have fun. And then George Wright was an organ player, this huge organ. I mean, it was as big as this room. And with these pipes, I don't know how many feet high. So it was so much fun.
Did the kids ever talk about the Straight Theater that was on Haight Street?
Okay, which theater was it?
That was on Cole and Haight. There's a Goodwill store there now on Haight Street.
What was it called? I forgot.
The Straight Theater.
Oh yeah, they used to talk about that.
Or the Mind True.
Oh right.
Or the Diggers. Yeah. How did you get the food to take care of these kids? Was there any help in the community?
Oh, I had a good husband. He understood. Oh, go ahead.
How many kids at one time would be
what
living
was the
in
most
your house?
Oh gosh, I had my 3.
Right.
And there'd be maybe three more. 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, how about it? I mean, do you have any
Okay,
kids
I'm
living
beginning to take care of older. Since I'm 72, I'm taking care of these people in their 50s and 40s, and they're all on. I didn't know. I hate they're on method.
Oh, so you're taking people in their 30s and 40s
yes,
now, so
and
you're
I'm
not
going to
taking
stop
teenagers.
it.
Okay.
I'm going to stop it.
Yeah.
I'm still doing this.
Okay.
See, I think maybe some people have had the experience you had and have
Yes.
been hurt by it,
Yes.
and then they don't continue it.
Right. No, I'm still continuing. I don't know when I'm going to stop.
But the young kids, it's the young
Yeah.
kids that have no one to turn to
Right.
and are looking for a better way than what they have at home.
Mm-hmm. The young people I talk to now are starting. They're nothing. I guess you'd say yuppies. But these kids are different than yuppies. They're highly educated kids, and they sure know about business, and they're starting different businesses, surf shops, plant shops, and I'm kind of in contact with them. They're real nice kids.
See, in the 60s, what we were looking for was a utopian society.
Yes,
I don't think they're
yes.
doing that anymore.
No, right. So they're not doing that anymore. They're trying to keep natural and be business at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're very, very smart, these kids.
It's
Very
a
smart,
monetary,
educated. Yes.
material direction rather
Yes.
than a
Yeah.
heart
Mhm.
and spirit and a spirit of love
Yes.
and direction and a
Mhm.
community type direction.
Mhm.
Did you ever go dig the ground and plant your own vegetables? And
I was the first one to do this. I was the first one to always have vegetables, the first one to have compost, and they thought I was, the
what
crazy
about
lady burying the
recycling?
compost.
Recycling.
Yeah, I was the first one to do that. Yeah. And the neighbors would complain and bring out the health department. The health department would go, oh my God, everything's okay.
Was this in the 50s or the 60s?
This is the 60s.
Okay.
Yes. I was
This
the first one to do
recycling
that. And breastfeeding
started.
was all taboo. You weren't supposed to breastfeed. I did that. I started that again. I started I was the first natural food. I'd squeeze a watermelon, squeeze papayas juice for the kids. I was the first health food freak. In those days, it was just one health food store in the 60s. Tom's
In San
Health Food Store.
Francisco?
Yes, it was a little closet on Clement, the first health food
Clement, I
store.
remember it.
Tom's
Yes.
Health.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good friend of mine. And that was all this. Well, it didn't have to be organic in those days. DDT. Let's not talk about that. But anyway, I'm gone. Thank God DDT is gone. Things have gotten better. The environment.
So no matter you're sitting outside your house and people that don't have a clue who you are, and
I always wave. Hello.
they think you're the bag lady. They have no clue.
Oh right. They
have
think,
no clue what you're doing.
I go on the beach and people say, "How do you live here?" I go, "Live where?" "Oh, well, don't you live on the beach?" I go, No, I'm here. I body surf. I go in the ocean. They can't understand it because in the old days, like I told you, they go there to walk their dogs now, not to participate in the nature and the sun and communicating.
So on one level, people that don't have a clue what you do, what you believe, and what a good heart you have.
Yes.
On the other level, you have got the police department calling you with a child that needs help,
Yes.
a school. So you had a relationship, and they would call you from schools. And
Oh yes.
could you tell us something about that and how?
Well, these were the parents that would call, and they'd call the police, and the police would come over. They say,
Wow.
Carol, you've got this child here now, come on.
Oh, they would come to pick
They
up
would
the
call-
children.
Yes.
I see.
And I'd always say, yes, I have blah, 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 blah.
Right.
That they say, oh, they're safe, they're okay.
I heard a story where there was a Catholic school and they had trouble, and that we got to call Carol. She
Oh,
likes to answer.
right, yeah.
Tell us about that.
What
Well,
happened?
the nuns would, that was Notre Dame de Victoire. I went to that school on Bush Street. And they knew me. Well, they go, oh, that's our little friend, Carol. She's the Saint Carol. She helps all the kids out.
Be great someday if all these kids are grown up, you can get them all together.
Yes.
And see
yes.
what you did.
Well, one
for
that's
them.
funny, one phone the other day, Rudy, I couldn't believe I had 35 years. Carol, are you okay? And I thought, who's this? Because I'll never forget you. I'll never know. Because of you, I straighten out my life. So that's such a good feeling.
Beautiful. There's more of us like that in the community. The children would not be sleeping in the streets.
Yes, exactly.
Or
Yes,
running
there
away
was
from
no, gosh, there's so many homeless people now.
You said that you had some experience in the Haight Ashbury or surrounding areas from the 30s and the 40s.
Oh, in the 30s. Oh boy, how can I say? I was on McAllister Street, and in my day there was no word ghetto, but the whole city was a ghetto. And we were all poverty stricken after the Depression. You see? And everyone was a community. And I was lucky to be born on McAllister Street, and it was a black neighborhood.
Was this in the Haight Ashbury, McAllister and the Haight?
No, this is that way, more to Steiner.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was all Victorian homes. Now it's a project. They look like prisons now. They was all
Right.
chopped down, and I had kind of a mean mother, so I would go around the corner, and the black people took care of me.
Wait, I read in this article that you
Yes.
you were raised by a black
Yes, and they raised
family
me.
in
Yeah.
the neighborhood.
Yes, they were very wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And they fed me, and then they come around the corner. It was like a segregation in those days. You never went past certain lines. North Beach was Italian, and Chinatown was Chinese.
Right.
Standing was Irish, and you never went out. But I
snuck.
snuck around. They looked like they were having more fun, the black people, than we were. So I went around there. They go, Carol, come on, we got some good soup for you.
What about your father?
I never had a father.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I had a grandmother and mother.
Okay. All right. So, anything else you want to tell us about the 60s?
Oh, let's see. What can I say? The 60s. Oh, well, it was so colorful and so much fun. It is not now technology, running in this body and all this.
Yes.
They're into their body and their looks and these things in your ears and and now the computer. So it's kind of not so much fun anymore like it used to be.
It can be a positive thing and a negative thing
Yes,
at the same
that's
time.
right. Yes.
Do you also, since you lived at the beach, do you remember the Avalon Ballroom that was at
Everyone talked about
Playland?
it. The light show, my little girlfriend, she was doing the light, the what do you call the strobe things.
Oh, okay.
She was a great thing. See, Carol, come on. I go, no, I'm too tired. I don't like going out at night. I'm always tired. She dragged me. I'll never forget as long as I live. The
You
kids
never
were-
went to one of the shows then?
No, I was a mother. You see, I'm
Yeah.
not a hanger-outer.
Right.
And so, but they go, Carol, you've got to come. And I saw the lights. It was beautiful.
You could probably hear the music from where you were living, though.
Yes. And then there was a
Grateful
family
Dead.
dog.
Right, the family dog.
Yes, that was my gang, the family dog.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. Chet
Right across the
Helms.
street. Yes.
Right. Oh, they were right across the street.
There was
from
from the street from Kelly's where I raised my children, where all the kids used to come, right across the street.
What is Kelly's Cove? I don't
Kelly's
know
Cove
Kelly's
is
Cove.
below the Cliff House.
Okay.
Yes, where the Seals Rock is.
That's
right
where
at
the
end.
Sutro Tower, the Sutro pools were.
No. Oh, right, Sutros, yes.
Right.
I'm on the other side.
Okay.
Yes. And that's where it was all happening.
Okay. If you had to think about, these are many years of you involved with this. It's like a little bit of Mother Teresa. It's a little bit of Johnny Appleseed. I don't know. It's a little bit. If you had to be remembered, and if what you did could inspire someone when this is watched, can you tell us a little how you would feel at peace? How you would feel good?
Okay. What I can tell the young people or anyone who watches this is just stay close to nature as much as you can, close to the earth and nature. That's all I can say. And don't forget this.
I want to thank you very much.
Yes,
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yes.
Thank you, Carol.
You're very welcome.